Imagine walking the dimly lit narrow streets of Whitechapel in 1888, hearing whispers of unease lurking around every corner. What if the most notorious serial killer in history was right behind you? Let's embark on a chilling journey into the chaotic heart of London, where the horrifying saga of Jack the Ripper began. Welcome to the mysterious case of Jack the Ripper, a spine-tingling tale that continues to baffle historians, criminologists, and enthusiasts to this day. We'll unravel how it all started in the foggy alleys of Whitechapel, exploring grim details from the victims to the terrifying evidence left behind. We'll touch on the panic-stricken policeman trying to solve the seemingly unsolvable. Get ready to immerse yourself in a haunting tale that's as captivating as it is bone-chilling. It's 1888, and the bustling district of Whitechapel in London's East End is teetering on the edge of chaos. This area isn't the quaint London you might imagine with horse-drawn carriages trotting past Big Ben. This is Whitechapel, an overcrowded labyrinth of poverty, crime, and despair. The streets here are alive with vendors, workers, and those down on their luck, striving to survive in a world that seems to have forgotten them. Into this mix of humanity steps a shadow, unseen, unidentified, and seemingly unstoppable. Jack the Ripper. It's hard to overstate the terror that gripped the residents when the first victim was discovered. Mary Ann Nichols, brutally murdered, her throat slashed, and her abdomen horribly mutilated. She wasn't just a victim. She was the first name in a chilling roll call of tragedy. Let's delve into this tragic list of victims. These weren't just nameless characters from a distant past. They were real people. Annie Chapman, found shortly thereafter, her body left brutally displayed. Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes were next, murdered on the same night. The press called it the double event. Finally, Mary Jane Kelly, whose fate was the most gruesome of all. Each victim was poor and desperate, their lives filled with hardships magnified by the abject poverty that surrounded them. Now here's a gruesome detail for those with a strong stomach. Experts theorize it was a knife, long and sharp, capable of inflicting the severe wounds that marked each crime scene. It's unsettling to consider how someone could wield such a tool with both precision and brute ferocity. This wasn't just killing for the sake of killing. There was something deeply personal and profoundly sinister about these attacks. And then there were the letters. What's a story without a sinister twist of written taunts? Several letters were sent to the police and news agencies, supposedly penned by Jack the Ripper himself. The most infamous one, dubbed the Dear Boss letter, boasted of future crimes with a chilling nonchalance. Imagine the fear creeping into the hearts of residents and officers alike as they read those ominous words. Whether these were genuine communications from the Ripper or a macabre hoax remains a topic of debate, adding yet another layer of mystery to this dark tale. The police were under intense pressure, tasked with solving a case that seemed impossible to crack. Picture these men, constables patrolling the fog-drenched streets, while detectives frantically sifted through clues, witnesses, and rampant rumors. The panic was palpable, not just among the citizens, but also in the eyes of those sworn to protect them. The terror wasn't just about the murders, but the feeling of being under siege by an invisible, monstrous force. The initial investigation was frenetic, scattered, and chaotic. Officers combed through Whitechapel, trying to piece together the Ripper's identity, racing against time before the body count could grow. But how do you catch a phantom? One who vanishes into the night, leaving only horror in his wake. It was a dark time, fueled by fear and desperation as the hunt for the Ripper intensified. Amidst the horror and confusion, one question lingered at the forefront. Who was Jack the Ripper? Could he have been an educated man, those surgical murders suggesting medical knowledge? Or was he yet another part of the seedy underbelly of Whitechapel? Tension gripped the community, each shadow and echo a potential threat. The terror of the Ripper saga is a story of a city overshadowed by fear, a desperate scramble for justice in a time of chaos. But this is just the beginning. How many secrets can hide within the foggy alleys of Victorian London? And how close have we come to unmasking the true face of destruction? In this world of whispers and shadows, where truth and myth dance in a sinister ballet, some names echo louder than others. These are the infamous suspects. Each comes draped in intrigue, wrapped in suspicion, and trailing their own dark stories. Barrister and educator, Montague John Druitt, a name that sends shivers down the spine of Ripperologists worldwide. To some, he's a perfect fit, a jigsaw piece snug in the chaotic puzzle of the Ripper case. Born into a family of prominence, Druitt was a barrister and teacher by day, and something else by night. After his death in December 1888, which ominously coincided with the end of the Ripper murders, whispers spread that he had been confessing sins to drift away in the waters of the Thames. Druitt's sudden absence, the timing of his demise, and a mysterious note found among his belongings make for a compelling narrative. Some claim this seemingly mundane man battled demons within, his mind a labyrinth where darkness found a home. But, as with many tales from this grim anthology, the line between fact and fiction remains blurred. Next, let's swivel the spotlight to Polish hairdresser Aaron Kosminski, forever dubbed the delusional barber. A mind consumed by paranoia, he wandered the streets of Whitechapel in a haze, speaking mostly rationally only to his visions. With unkept hair and a wild look in his eyes, he could often be found muttering to himself. His mental instability set him on a collision course with infamy. When a piece of stained cloth surfaced decades later, purportedly linked to him, the whispers turned into debates. Was Kosminski the Ripper, hiding behind his own bewildered mind? Or was this just another fragment of history twisted by time? DNA analysis seemed to point a finger, but many argue the tests were flawed or the results misrepresented. In this case, science dances precariously on the veil of mystery, never landing completely on one side. Then, there's German-born British painter and printmaker Walter Sickert, whose canvas holds more than just paintings. It holds a theory that's as artistic as it is disturbing. Was this accomplished artist hiding his murderous passions behind an easel? His fascination with the macabre and eerie alignment of his works with the Ripper scenes led many to argue that the brush and blade were tools of the same hand. But was Sickert truly reveling in his crimes through his art? Or was he merely an artist engrossed in the dark tableau of society's underbelly? Those who suspect Sickert often point to his painting titled Jack the Ripper's bedroom, with its unsettling aura, as an artistic confession. Others dismiss it as a grim inspiration. Perhaps, in his eyes, society's underbelly was the true villain, with him merely capturing its essence. And who could ignore the most glamorous suspect of them all, Prince Albert Victor, Duke of Clarence and Avondale, the grandson of Queen Victoria? From the cobblestones of Whitechapel to the halls of Buckingham Palace, rumours swirled that the Ripper's bloodlust was a royal affair gone terribly awry. His privileged life provided the perfect cover, or so some speculate. Stories of secret love affairs and concealed madness weave an irresistible web of conspiracy. Could a prince truly stoop so low, or was this mere scandal born from jealousy and intrigue? Historians bat these questions back and forth, noting the prince's movements during the time of the murders. Yet, evidence remains thin, and the theory largely rests in the realm of speculation. Was the royal family protecting the throne, or were they innocent pawns in a melodramatic tale spun by society? Beyond these prime suspects, the list is long and growing. Doctors, butchers, writers, and petty criminals have all strutted through this macabre lineup. Some theories suggest multiple murderers, a gang concoction, or perhaps an entire community driven to protect their own. Each name carries its own baggage of conjecture and suspicion, yet, in the end, many of these clues lead to dead ends or claims later debunked by historians and investigators. In the vast forest of theories, it's easy for one twig to look like the one true branch. This gallery of suspects leaves us with a chilling conclusion. The true identity of Jack the Ripper remains hidden behind a cloak of history's secrets. Some argue we are closer than ever to solving the mystery, while others believe this is a riddle from the past destined never to be unraveled. Could it be that the Ripper was hiding in plain sight all along, or does he remain a shadow in the corners of our predecessors' nightmares? The Ripper case is a labyrinth where history and myth are entangled, and maybe, just maybe, that's where it gets its hold on us. Philosophers, crime solvers, and everyday wanderers through the pages of time. Could the infamous Jack the Ripper have hidden behind the shadowy veil of a secret society, or perhaps dared to cross the ocean to haunt American shores? Or was he even a he? Imagine a world where the Ripper was not the skulking silhouette of a man, but a woman in disguise. Let's start with a shadowy society shrouded in mystery. The Freemasons, secretive, with their cryptic symbols and clandestine meetings. Could they have given refuge to Jack? Some theorists suggest that the deaths were ritualistic, with the precise cuts aligning with Masonic symbols. This murmur of conspiracy gained momentum when it was proposed that Sir Charles Warren, who investigated the murders and was a known Freemason, might have hidden evidence to protect a fellow brother. Was Jack using a secret handshake to slip away? Speaking of hands, how about the possibility of a surgeon being behind the grisly acts? The precision of the murders, the swift, clean incisions, suggests a skilled hand. Dr. Thomas Neal Cream, a known surgeon who was convicted of poisoning, among other crimes, was once a suspect. Was he capable of such brutality, or was he too a piece in a bigger puzzle? Did Jack the Ripper possess the clinical detachment of a doctor, using chilling medical knowledge to leave his mark on history? Then there's the twist that makes jaws drop. a woman masquerading as Jack the Ripper. Picture Mary Piercy, who killed her lover's wife and daughter, wielding her femininity as a disguise. Could the perception that women were incapable of such violence have provided perfect cover? In Victorian London, expectations of women were rigid, their innocence a given. Was this the ultimate manipulation of societal norms, a gender-bending horror story that still leaves us chilled? Just when you think you've heard it all, there's the American interlude, Jack Across the Pond. What if Jack fled London for the bustling streets of New York? Some believe that similar murders in America might connect back to him. Francis Tumblety, an eccentric American doctor with a murky past, was often cited as a suspect. A man with a disdain for women, he allegedly collected uteruses, his dark fascination mirroring the Ripper's gruesome deeds. Psychological profiling takes us deeper into the mind of terror. Experts have devoted years to constructing a profile of Jack the Ripper, suggesting a man driven by a raw pathological rage, with potential childhood trauma feeding his dark desires. Could Jack have been someone unnoticed, lurking in plain sight? In dissecting these theories, we grapple with a central challenge, an absence of concrete evidence. Each lead generates as much doubt as curiosity. Was Jack a solitary enigma, or was he shielded by an intricate web of collaborators? As we chase shadows, each twist offers no definitive answers, only more perplexities. Perhaps that's the key moment, the realization that Jack the Ripper's identity isn't just an unsolved crime, but a ghost haunting the annals of history. Like a spectre in the fog, always just out of reach, he remains an obsession for those seeking to understand this century-old mystery. In summary, what makes Jack the Ripper so captivating is not just what he did, but what we don't know. He represents the ultimate puzzle, a blend of ghastly reality and imaginative speculation that continues to capture our darkest curiosity. Let's plunge into the heart of modern-day Ripper investigations by unfurling the DNA revolution. Picture a cold gust of wind carrying with it whispers from the past, as geneticists dust off old evidence and painstakingly extract DNA. In 2014, an intriguing breakthrough sent ripples across the globe when genetic sleuths announced a potential breakthrough. By analyzing DNA from a shawl said to be found at the scene of one of the Ripper's grisly crimes, researchers pointed fingers at Aaron Kosminski, presenting him as the shadowy figure behind the historical veil. DNA tests aren't like wands conjuring assured truth. It's like trying to catch a slippery fish in a tight stream. Contaminations, match samples, and the very origins of the shawl itself are hotly debated. But amidst skeptics and believers, this genetic breadcrumb marks a pivotal step in shedding light on history's dark figure. Imagine London as a massive puzzle, with its streets forming a labyrinth of secrets. Enter the intricate web called geographic profiling. This technique functions like a detective's compass, using maps and math to pinpoint the Ripper's lair. Researchers illustrate crime locations on the map, and through sophisticated algorithms, narrow down possible zones of interest where the Ripper may have resided or worked. Picture it as a digital lantern among the fog-laden alleys, providing new sight into the Ripper's haunting footprint across the cityscape. This modern deciphering of old maps inch those eternal mysteries a step closer to unraveling. And what about the Ripper's voice? A voice never heard, yet one echoing down grim corridors of time. Linguistic analysis embarks on the eerie task of reconstructing potential speech patterns based on the limited, often suspect letters supposedly penned by the Ripper. Could the killer's personality, intent, or even identity be cloaked in syntax and vocabulary? The experts ponder these ominous possibilities as they analyze phrasing, dialect, and structure. It's akin to piecing together a voiceless symphony of terror, one letter at a time. Before we venture further, we face a daunting problem: truth twisted by tales. Media has played an enormous role in shaping the Ripper legend, either as guardian of facts or creator of myths. The headlines have stitched a patchwork quilt of myth, truth, and imagination, often swaying public perception like leaves in a storm. As sensational headlines splattered across newspapers then and even now, the spectre of Ripper remains draped in both clarity and controversy. Caution is essential when treading this labyrinth, discerning authentic narratives from fanciful tales. Our journey also uncovers the tireless endeavors of armchair detectives, whose passionate obsessions drive informal investigations. These modern hunters operate from their cozy corners, using online forums and digital resources to chase shadows of evidence. With their dedication, they unearth obscure hints tucked away in archives or debated endlessly on virtual platforms, leaving no stone unturned in their search for the elusive truth. As we meander through the corridors of modern investigations, filled with breakthroughs and controversial claims, the collective efforts culminate into key moments that inch closer to unmasking the legendary figure. Each DNA strand, geographical dot, letter analysis, and digital debate threads together in a tapestry laden with discoveries and challenges. Is truth within our reach, or merely a whisper carried away by time's relentless gusts? Modern techniques shine a spectral light on the shadowy figure who haunted Victorian London, yet the riddle remains intriguingly unresolved. What we have is a mosaic of progress and questions, each piece of evidence weaving a new narrative thread in history's cloak. The intrigue of the Ripper saga doesn't end with the mystery of who he was. It extends into how he shaped culture, tourism, policing, and even created a community of Ripper enthusiasts, aptly named Ripperologists. But why do we still care so much over a century later? Let's unravel the threads of fascination that tie us to this notorious figure and explore the haunting reverberations that still echo today. The dim-lit streets of Victorian-era London, cloaked in fog and suspense. That's where our story lingers, creeping into modern literature, art and film. Jack the Ripper morphed from a terrifying reality into a grotesque muse, inspiring countless books and movies, and turning Cold Case Jack into a cultural phenomenon. Films depicting his ghastly acts suggest a morbid curiosity still thrives deep within us. The need to look into the abyss and maybe, just maybe, understand it. But the Ripper's reach doesn't stop at the silver screen. Take a stroll down the cobbled streets of Whitechapel today, and you'll stumble upon memorial sites, walking tours, and museums entirely devoted to the infamous killer. It's a macabre form of tourism, enticing visitors all eager to step back in time and feel the eerie presence of Jack. Those historic alleys have become must-visit destinations for thrill-seekers and history buffs, drawn like moths to a flame by one of the most enigmatic figures in criminal history. But above the layers of cultural fascination lies a stark reality. The Ripper's reign of terror prompted revolutionary changes in policing. the bungled early investigations unearthed significant flaws in the procedures of the time, sparking a police revolution. New methods, from modern forensics to criminal profiling, can trace their roots back to this case, illustrating how desperate times led to groundbreaking innovations. Essentially, each step forward in solving future crimes bears faint prints of Jack's shadow. So here's an intriguing conundrum. The murders may be a thing of the past, but Jack the Ripper is very much alive in another form. His spirit fuels an entire community of ripperologists. These zealous seekers of truth dissect every clue, every theory, like detectives on a relentless quest. They keep the embers of this cold case burning, each convinced the next revelation could be the missing piece of this century-old puzzle. Yet, despite modern science and relentless investigation, the identity of the Ripper remains unsolved. The mystery shrouding him only adds to his allure. It's a riddle wrapped in an enigma, and as every attempt to unmask him slips into shadows, it teases us. Was he a lone madman, a member of high society, or a figure much closer to his victims? We are caught in a perpetual chase, forever locked in a dance with the unknown. In conclusion, Jack the Ripper's menace doesn't just dwell in his acts, but in how he intrigues, unsettles, and influences us even today. His story is a tapestry interwoven with culture, tourism, science, and curiosity. An echo from the past demands answers, beckoning us to look deeper into the abyss, to stare into the heart of darkness and confront the enigma that is Jack. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss our next dive into history's mysteries. See you next time.